Today we'll review 5 TradingView volume footprint and order flow indicators, and at the end I'll explain the new feature TradingView rolled out recently that dramatically changes how volume can be calculated inside these tools, and why it could be a game changer for some traders. Spoiler, only one tool in today's review uses it already. Volume Open Interest Footprint, created by Leviathan, is one of the most well-known footprint-style indicators on TradingView and has built a strong reputation in the crypto trading community in particular. It does not use the new native footprint API, but it is genuinely the most feature-dense proxy implementation you can find on the platform. The script breaks the visible chart range into a row-based profile and distributes volume across each row using a candle geometry method. For every bar in the visible window, it splits the candle into body and wick segments, calculates how much volume sits in each segment, and then assigns that volume to the price rows the candle physically passed through. You can switch between 3 display modes: total volume per row, separate buy and sell columns, or pure delta. And you can also flip the data source from volume to open interest change, which is a feature most footprint indicators on TradingView simply do not offer. On top of that, the volume aggregation panel lets you combine volume from up to 8 different exchanges into a single profile, which is meaningful for crypto traders who actually need to see consolidated flow rather than just one venue. The positive delta levels feature highlights price zones where buy volume outweighed sell volume across the visible range, giving you a quick read on where aggressive buying showed up most consistently. As a confirmation tool layered onto an existing structural or trend approach, it is one of the better options available, especially for crypto and futures traders. As a standalone system, it is not designed to generate signals at all, so it functions purely as a chart context layer rather than a decision engine. The limitation is the same theme that runs through most indicators in this review. The buy versus sell split is derived from candle direction and geometry, rather than true bid-ask data, so on choppy two-sided bars, the row-level distribution can misrepresent what actually happened in the order book. The open interest mode partially sidesteps this issue because open interest change is genuine exchange data, but the volume mode shares the proxy ceiling. The feature depth, the open interest option, and the multi-exchange aggregation make this the most complete proxy footprint tool publicly available. The candle geometry method is still an approximation, which keeps it from reaching the precision a true footprint implementation provides. Swing Profile, created by Big Beluga, is a volume distribution indicator that maps trading activity across each swing leg of price movement. Rather than applying a static volume profile to a fixed time window, it attaches the profile directly to each detected swing, giving traders a view of where volume concentrated during that specific directional move. The detection logic uses highest high and lowest low over a user-defined swing length to identify pivot points, then monitors for direction changes to finalize each leg. When a swing completes, the indicator divides the price range of that leg into bins sized using half of ATR 200, accumulates volume per bin across every bar within that swing, and renders the result as a horizontal profile anchored to the swing. The point of control, the bin with the highest volume, is marked with a dedicated line. Buy and sell volume are tracked separately per bin and accessible via tooltip on each swing label, showing total volume, buy volume, sell volume, and delta as a percentage. 2 display modes are available. The standard profile view renders the histogram as a polyline outline, with gradient-filled boxes. The heat map mode fills boxes horizontally across the full swing width, showing volume intensity as a color gradient rather than bar width. Both modes update in real time as the current swing develops, rebuilding on each bar until a new pivot confirms the direction change. In practical use, the point of control levels from completed swings act as reference zones on future price revisits, similar to how session volume profiles are used, but scoped to swing structure rather than time. Traders can identify where the market did the most work during a rally or decline, and use those levels as potential reaction areas if price returns. The delta percentage adds a directional dimension, distinguishing between swings where buyers dominated and those where sellers were in control despite similar price ranges. Customization covers swing length, color settings for up and down moves, zigzag line style, point of control color and width, profile or heat map toggle, and label size. the swing-scoped volume profile is a genuinely useful concept that most free tools do not offer, and the real-time update behavior adds meaningful live trading utility. The bin sizing tied to ATR 200 is not adjustable, which can produce poorly proportioned profiles on certain instruments or timeframes, and the absence of alerts limits its use as an active signal tool. Breakout Volume Delta, created by Flux Charts, is a structure-based breakout confirmation tool that focuses on the exact moment a swing high or swing low gets broken, and visualizes the buy versus sell pressure inside that breakout candle. It has earned an editor's pick and a strong reception from users on TradingView, which is worth flagging up front, because it tells you the visual concept genuinely resonates with breakout traders. The indicator runs a swing detection engine on a time frame you select, plotting horizontal levels at recent swing highs and lows. You decide whether a level counts as broken by candle close or by wick, and you can cap how many recent levels stay on the chart. When price breaks one of those levels, the script pulls real volume data from a lower time frame, by default the 1-minute chart, and separates it into bullish and bearish volume by checking whether each subbar closed up or down. The total bull and bear volume figures are summed across the breakout candle, converted into a percentage split, and painted directly onto the candle body to show visually how much volume came from each side. There's also an optional volume filter that ignores breakouts where the dominant side does not clear a minimum percentage threshold, which is a sensible way to avoid weak breakouts where neither buyers nor sellers really committed. The visualization is genuinely well executed. Broken levels change color and style automatically, unmitigated levels stay highlighted, and a small label can show the raw bull and bear figures in numerical form for context. It works best as a confirmation layer on top of an existing structure-based approach rather than a standalone system, because it only fires on breakouts and stays silent the rest of the time. For traders who already make decisions around swing highs and lows, it slots in cleanly without adding chart noise. The limitation worth understanding is the data source. The buy and sell split is calculated by counting whether each 1-minute subbar closed up or closed down, which is a directional approximation rather than true bid-ask data. If you want a complete trading system with full customization so you don't have to jump between tools, Quantum Ribbon Pro was built for that. Link in the description. Let's continue. On clean trending breakouts, the proxy lines up well with what actually happened on the order flow side. On choppy or two-sided breakouts, the percentages can drift from the real distribution, because a green 1-minute candle does not mean buyers were in control during that minute, only that the close finished above the open. The visualization and structural integration are sharp, and the user reception is well earned. The proxy-based volume calculation is the ceiling on how precise the read can really be. Precision Market Entropy heat map, created by LuxAlgo, takes a different approach to the volume profile concept by dropping the traditional histogram entirely and replacing it with a session-based heat map. Each anchor period, daily by default, gets its own block of color-graded rows that map where volume concentrated inside that session, with a developing point of control that updates live as the current session unfolds. The script anchors to a time frame of your choice, daily, weekly, or any custom interval. And within each anchor period, it pulls intrabar data from a lower time frame, by default the 1-minute chart. Every lower time frame, high, low, and volume reading gets distributed across a row grid, weighted by how many rows the bar physically spanned. As volume accumulates per row, the indicator paints each row with a color gradient that runs from a low-intensity background tone, through a midpoint, up to a hot peak color that marks the highest volume row in the session. The result is a clean visual gradient that makes it instantly obvious where price found acceptance versus where it just passed through. The point of control for each completed session is plotted as a horizontal line that automatically colors itself based on whether price is currently trading above or below it, and there is an optional developing point of control polyline that traces how the highest volume row migrated through the live session. That migration view is particularly useful because it shows the audit trail of where the auction was building consensus rather than just the final result. As a confirmation tool overlaid on a trend or structure-based system, it functions as a high-quality context layer that tells you which prior session levels are likely to act as magnets or barriers. As a standalone system, it is purely informational and does not generate entry signals at all. The limitation here is that the heat map is built from total volume per row rather than separated buy and sell pressure, so it tells you where volume happened, but not who was in control at each level. For traders looking specifically for aggressive buyer or seller imbalance signatures, this tool will not surface that directly. The intrabar precision is also tied to the lower time frame selected, so on very long anchor periods, the data load can become heavy. The developing point of control feature is genuinely useful, and the multi-session structure is well executed. It still operates on aggregate volume, rather than true buy-sell separation, which leaves a precision gap a real footprint implementation would close. Before we get to the top spot, here is what TradingView actually changed. Until very recently, every footprint tool on the platform had to estimate buy and sell volume from candle direction or candle shape, which is an approximation because a green subbar does not mean buyers were in control, only that the close finished above the open. TradingView has shipped a new PineScript function called request.footprint, which gives developers direct access to real intrabar order flow data, actual buy volume at the ask, actual sell volume at the bid, true point of control, and genuine row-level imbalances. The catch is that scripts using it only run on the Premium or Ultimate TradingView plan. Here is the only indicator in today's review that already uses it. HTF floating candles with volume footprint, created by the Ultimator 5, is a higher time frame visualization tool that pulls daily, weekly, or any chosen higher time frame candles to the right side of your chart and overlays a real volume footprint on each one. The author published it on February 25, 2026, and updated it shortly after to integrate the new footprint function as soon as it became available, which puts this script among the very first public indicators to adopt the native API. The logic builds a row-by-row distribution of true buy and sell volume across the price range of each higher time frame candle. Buy volume is rendered on one side of the candle and sell volume on the other, or stacked on a single side if you prefer the traditional layout. The point of control, value area high, and value area low are calculated directly from the footprint data rather than estimated, and they can be plotted as horizontal reference lines extending across the chart. You can show up to 10 higher timeframe candles at once and adjust the tick density per row to control how granular the profile becomes. It functions as a visualization layer rather than a signal generator. As a confirmation tool for traders who already work with multi-timeframe context, it is excellent because it removes the need to mentally reconstruct the higher timeframe shape while watching the lower timeframe action. The main limitation is the premium tier requirement, which gates the indicator behind a TradingView subscription many retail traders do not hold. The visualization is genuinely well thought out. The author's framing is honest about what the indicator is and is not, and it is built on real footprint data rather than directional approximation. The premium tier gate is the only meaningful caveat, and it is a TradingView constraint rather than a flaw in the indicator itself. We have recently introduced the complete QR Pro BST ecosystem. 1 workflow, 3 tools. Backtest your settings, scan for opportunities, and trade with confidence. Link in the description if you want to see how it works.